record.
Well, good morning. Today we have the great pleasure of being with Caryolyn Rim, and she's going to tell us about some really exciting things. Caryolyn has just blown people away about what she's done. You know, since she's decided she's going to move forward and live her life of passion, she just shattered everything. So, Caryolyn.
Hi everyone. It's so nice to have you guys on this blab, if you're on this blab, and it's so nice to be here with everybody. I don't know, Ralph, while I'm talking, if you want to share this to my Spark Your Rockstar group. I have a Rockstar group. I'm going to put the link in the box, and Ralph should put his community in the box after he's done posting my community. But I went from 200 rock stars in that group to 2,000 rock stars in about 6 months. And the reason being is I just continue to, put myself out there, and I continue to just tell my story, really. I just kept telling my story. And, Ralph, I don't know what the format is for this, but did you just want me to jump into it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So there's so many places where I can start, but I'll start at a place where I normally don't start, so it's a little variety for everybody. So I grew up like any other American teenage girl, and I started to notice that I was different. I felt different. I know that might sound crazy, but when you're like an orange slice in an onion, it's hard, it's hard to not notice differences, right? And I started to notice that whenever I would shine, whenever I would, really step up my game or do something good, I would get, like I remember in school, like people wouldn't like me. And I know that's because some of my actions I did, but I also believe it's because others don't know how to deal with people who shine. Like they just don't. They really don't. Like Ralph, you shine. Like you're a rock star. Like some people just shine. I'm a true believer of that.
It's my forehead, Caryolyn.
Oh my God, I love that. And so I remember, that was really hard for me. And, I got into alcohol and I got into drugs. And I normally don't share all that, but I just feel like it's so important. I recently just shared about it, and I got an overwhelming amount of messages to me, thanking me, saying, oh my God, there's hope. My daughter is doing this. And, I didn't know if she would ever come out of it, but your hope, your faith that it's possible that someone can come out of an addiction. And it is possible that you can quit smoking. It is possible you can quit drugs. It is possible that you can quit anything you want to. So I'll never forget that. I'll never forget those moments where I just wanted to die. Like I literally just wanted to die. And, I came to a point in my life where I knew I had to stop something. And so when I was 21, I decided, right, like normally when you're 21, you start drinking. That's when you start your journey. Well, I started young. I had a fake ID when I was 16, and it worked everywhere. It was a really good fake ID. And the girl's name was Roxanne. And I'll never forget that everyone that would see me would say, Roxanne, you don't have to turn on the red light. And they would sing that to me, and I would sing to them. And I don't know, it would just be like a lot of fun. And but I felt like I was turning into somebody who I wasn't, I just really felt like I really started to understand that every action had a consequences. For every action, there was a reaction. So every, like people don't understand, but every action that you do, there's a reaction. Like you don't think that, right? Like you wouldn't think that just getting in your car, going to Wawa, coming back, there's an action for that, there's a reaction for that, but there is.
Yes.
And it reminds me of that book, The Butterfly Effect. I'm not sure if you guys have read that, but it talks about how butterfly wings, a scientist said that a butterfly wings can be felt around the world. And it's true. A butterfly wings that flaps its wings the wind actually can be felt around the world. And it's incredible, right? It's incredible that these little tiny actions you wouldn't think have such a big consequence that they do. And so I found myself, 14 months ago, I was married with a kid who I adored, and just still unhappy. And I believe spirituality is really the only way to fill that void. But I felt like something still was missing because I had spirituality in my life. I had some good stuff in my life, but it didn't feel right. Like I just knew that I needed to make some swift actions and I needed to take them quickly. And so at 30 years old, I just turned 30. You know, they say I have that midlife crisis or whatever. I think at 30.
I forgot. That's
well, it's like that was 30 years ago. No, I'm teasing you out. I still think about that bamboo story that you tell, Ralph, with the bamboo and a bamboo doesn't start growing for 5 years. So, and then after 5 years, it shoots up 90 feet in the air after 6 weeks, and it's an awesome metaphor because.
And you're such an example of that.
I think so. I was just about to say, I did so much work in NA where I had to go over these questions that you had to really dive deep into your past. And asking the right questions is so important, I think. And, I really just got it out on paper. I have notebooks and notebooks filled with my thoughts. And it's funny, Ralph, I've decided to, I have about, I guess it's about 30 pages of Dear Addiction. And it's me writing to my addiction. And it's really raw. And I wasn't going to add it because I was like, people are going to think I'm crazy. They're not going to know. Hi, Matt. It's good to see you on. It really, though, I don't know what people are going to think. But every time I think that people are going to judge me, they just end up loving me more. So I don't know, Ralph. I think my odds are pretty good on that one.
Well, Caroline, I like Les Brown. He says it's none of your business what other people think of you.
Yeah.
And the story you share, I see so much as I say it in a different way. You're talking about the questions you ask. I call them seeds. When you start worrying about other people and what they think about you, you start boxing yourself in.
Oh,
but
yeah.
When you start sharing your raw life, what's going on, it's kind of like that bamboo who the gardener takes care of it, and that gardener's going to be very vulnerable because the neighbors are going to say, "Hey, what are you doing there? You're watering, fertilizing bare soil. Have you lost it?" But when you share that story, and the more emotional it is, that pain, the experience that you can relate to the people who have had a similar story.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Everybody thinks that we should be hiding. Everybody thinks that no one should be sharing raw shit. No one should be sharing raw honesty. And I think that's wrong. I think that we should be sharing it. I had so many messages after I shared that story on Facebook. I mean, it was like I shared a story. I'll tell you guys, I shared a story on Facebook and this was just one out of many. But I shared a story where I just didn't want to live anymore. And I went out and I drank until I blacked out. And, I remember waking up, and this guy was shaking me. And I realized I was literally outside, on a main road, face down, in front of my parents' house on the sidewalk. And, people have a hard time hearing that. But it's not your truth. It's my truth, right? So, even though people might have a hard time hearing that, I think it's worth it to share, okay, this is my truth and I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me anymore because I'm okay with it. You can't hear me?
No, it's me. It's who I am. I guess I was trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. And so Scott's on. Hi, Scott. So,
hey, Scott.
So I'll share one story with you. I'll never forget. I was in, you know how they say that there's protectors and there's guardians and all these things. I have always felt like I wanted to be, like I was always there for the weak. I know that sounds crazy, but I'll never forget that I was in kindergarten and my class was picking on this girl so bad. And I like walk over to this girl who they're picking on, and I stand in front of her, and I'm like, you guys are gonna have to get through me to get to her. And you know, the little girl like stood up behind me because she was real small. And you know how it is in school, people pick on people, right? People, you know, we're kids, we don't get it, we don't know that we're messing people up when we do stuff like this. But you know, I'm standing in front of this girl, and I'm like, I'm not gonna move until these kids stop like torturing her. And it just not that just that, Ralph. I mean, I've been in situations where, you know, I know a story happened to me just this past year where I'm in a Buddy's Burger, and the restaurant is packed, right? It's just packed. And this mom is sitting there, and she's on her phone. And I noticed her, right? She's on her phone, you know, blah, 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 playing with her phone. And her two kids are there. And I don't really notice it. You know, you just glance, and you're like, oh, she should be paying attention to her kids. Oh, well. And then I sat down, and then all of a sudden I hear her scream, you guys are little shits. You two little shits better sit down and shut up. I'm so embarrassed by you. I'll never come out to eat with you again. And I look over, and this little boy's face was red. He was so embarrassed by his mother. And I, like the one kid was 2, the other kid was 7. And the whole restaurant went silent. Everyone was just staring. No one's doing anything. This woman is like verbally abusing these kids, and no one was doing anything. And I was like, you know what? I am going to go do something. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something. So I stand up, and I walk over there, and instead of like responding with hate, I decide to respond with love. And let me tell you something. Love is the most cosmic, powerful force in the universe. When you respond with love, something shifts. Something absolutely amazing happens. And I sit down and I say, hi, my name's Caryolyn Rim, and I have a message from the universe for you. And she's looking at me, and she doesn't know what to think at first. She's like, what's going on, you know? And she's like, what's the message? And I'm like, the universe wants you to breathe. And so she takes a deep breath in with me. And I say, now the universe also wants me to tell you, put your phone in your purse. And normally, I mean, I live in Philly, so normally I'm expecting this woman to go give me the finger and F off at any moment. But she doesn't, right? Because I'm not responding with hostility. I'm not responding the way people probably normally respond, right? Not just that, but remember, guys, you're putting off a vibration. I don't care who you are or where you are. Whether you think that you're putting off a vibration or not, you are. You are vibrating in energy, and when you walk in the room, people can feel you. And she could feel me. She could feel the love in my heart for her. And I sat down and I said, you know what? I said, you are such a beautiful mom. I said, I was like, oh my God. I'm like, you are so beautiful. I'm like, you know, you were paying attention to your phone. You were getting all this energy from your phone, right? But you should have been getting the energy and the significance from your kids, because they will give it to you. They will fulfill that need of the significance. They will fulfill that need that you're looking for. And it was just like, it was like a shock to her heart, me saying this. And then I looked at the 2 little boys, and I said, you know, you guys are little supermen. And they gave me the biggest smile. I was like, you guys are strong. I'm like, whenever you feel sad, I'm like, you picture yourself as little supermen, because that's what you are. And I gave them both a high five. And I looked at the mom and I said, you know, you call me anytime you need me. I remember giving her my card, and I remember saying, and don't let anyone put you down. I'm like, you just keep pushing on, because we've all been in that situation where we're looking at our phone. We want to pay attention to our phone. You know, we get in that position where people are like, you know, Ralph, or Caryolyn. And I'm like, yeah, what? You know, so, you know, I really wanted her to understand that. The rest of the restaurant, I walk up, this mom is in tears. She's literally crying. She's giving me a hug, you know, and like the rest of the restaurant could not believe what just happened. And then the rest of the time they ate, the kids were dancing with me, my kids. Like the mom was smiling. The phone didn't come out of her purse at all. Like it was beautiful, just beautiful. And that's what I'm talking about, the action that love can have in somebody's life. Like I'm telling you, if you don't think that it can, I'm telling you, love has a very large impact. And when I got back to my table, you know what the one thing my little girl said? My little girl's awesome. She's so to the point. Oh my God, she's my favorite, man. She's like, hey, did you tell that lady to be nicer to her kids? I'm like, yeah, I got it, baby. I got it, baby. But she is just awesome. She's so to the point, man. She doesn't want any baloney, any BS, you know? But yeah, and you know, I'll share that, you know, in the past 14 months, things have happened that I can't explain. Like, I don't know if it was infinite intelligence. I don't know if it was grace. I don't know what it was, but I know. Hi, Joe. I know that. Hi, Missy. Oh, hello, my loves, everyone. So, I don't have any makeup on. I'm sorry. I look a wreck, but, you know, stay with me.
You woke up looking good, so.
Yeah, so, like, I can't explain the things that have happened, you know, in the past 14 months, but I can tell you that I felt like I wanted to die. I had no passions. I had no goals. I had no dreams. And then all of a sudden, I just decided to type in this name, Tony Robbins. And I decided that I was going to go to Dallas. He was having an event in 7 days in Dallas. And I remember thinking to myself, 7 days, how am I going to pull this off in 7 days? Like, normally people spend months planning a Tony Robbins trip, months. I had 7 days. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to do this. I don't care. I have $36 in the bank. I remember calling the Tony Robbins place and saying, hi, how much for a front row seat? And they're like, that'll be $3,000. I'm like, all right, I'll call you back. And, you know, I remember that so clearly. And I remember taking out the loan and not calling my parents, not calling my husband at the time, not calling anybody. Why? Why didn't I call anybody? Because it's sad to say this for those listening, but it's your parents. It's your friends. It's the people closest to you that are going to try to talk you out of your passions, out of your dreams. Why? Because they don't get it. They're afraid for you, right? It's not that they don't love you. They do love you. It's just they're feared up. They don't know. Like, when I said to everyone, I'm a life coach and I'm a motivational speaker, I literally just woke up one day and was like, I know what I'm supposed to be doing with my life, so I'm going to start doing it right now. That's it. I was like, I'm a motivational speaker and a life coach. Nobody, like, I was like, not even, no one could tell me no. No one could say I wasn't. I was like, no, I am. And I remember there was one girl, she's no longer in my life, because once you start to grow, you will find that you can't shrink down to meet those adversaries. Or you can for connection and love, but it won't be so good.
Sometimes you just got to grow in different directions.
You do. You absolutely do. And did you hear what I said there? Because it's important. A lot of times we shrink down. We shrink down for love and connection. We get our needs met on a lower lying level by shrinking down to get that love and connection. So it's important we don't do that because that limits us and it limits our growth. And we're settling for connection. It's not really love.
It's so important the people that we hang around. You know, Les Brown talks about when we go out for a walk, you know, we will match the other person's steps. We'll either pick up our step to match theirs, or the other person will fall.
I love Ralph and his analogies. I love that so much.
I mean, to me, I can relate with that, and I relate to that, and that's how I end up, letting that sink in, and it makes sense to me when you can go ahead and put things like that in place. And another thing, you were talking about your friend kind of growing apart, and me and my plant seeds carefully in my garden. Sometimes we have seeds that come over from the previous year. Okay, like a tomato. All of a sudden, the tomato plant comes up. It's growing where it's not supposed to be. It's called a weed. You know, it's not that it's a bad plant. It's just not where it's supposed to be. And likewise, in your life, you had somebody, and then all of a sudden, or the times have changed, and that person is just doesn't fit there right now. So you have to discard it, or not. I shouldn't say discard it. You just have to separate from that. So.
No, I definitely understand. So yeah, I really like that analogy that we match the steps of those we surround ourselves with. So just remember that, guys, because I know a lot of people on this call are people I surround myself with. And the people that show up, like these people show up every time for me. I don't know, still in bed and naked. I love reading those comments. I don't even do it on purpose. I swear.
Well, now that's a pattern interrupt, wouldn't you say? It is for me. I'm from Missouri. We have a saying: "Show me." This is a show me state. Come on here. No.
I like that. Show me. That reminds me of I'll show you mine if you show me yours, but that's probably not the same context, is it?
Yeah, no. Uh-oh.
All right, we got Sexy Bastard on and Kristen Brown. All right, let's do this.
Do you have questions for Caryolyn?
Not really. I'm actually brand new to this blab.
Okay.
I've been like an hour. Yeah. I saw she avoided my Sexy Bastard name. It's just a name that carries over, I guess, from my Twitter or.
Well, no, it's okay. You can have that name. Yeah. I'm nice. Or I'm sexy. You're sexy. We're all sexy.
But this name, I've had it since I was 16 years old. I've had it for like 20 years online.
Nice.
I've had a lot of nicknames in my life. It's funny. My sister wrote down all the nicknames once, and it was for my birthday. I had to read it out loud, and they were the longest nicknames. I had a nickname that was meatballs and spaghetti with with a side of Italian bread. Like, I'm talking about long nicknames like Lillian Morris, Lil, Kiddo, Kid. Like, it just, there's so many nicknames. But Sexy Bastard, I don't have yet. So maybe we can. I'll show you mine. You show my yours. Oh, but don't vote. No, I'm teasing. So I'll go back.
Are you from Long Island?
Wrap this up. No.
This blab's being recorded, so I can't share the names that I've had in my life.
Ralph, bringing it home.
Caryolyn, tell us some more. You're sharing about the massive change that you came about in 14 months.
Wait, say it again.
I said share some more about the massive change in your life in just 14 months.
Oh yeah, so let me tell you, because it really is quite remarkable, actually. I went to this Tony Robbins thing. I walk over fire. I quit smoking. The fourth day, I charged the stage. And because, and I wouldn't recommend many people do that because the security guards will drop you. I'm pretty sure I had the guardian angels around me that day. Or Joseph told them not to I thought they were scared of me when I was charging the stage. They weren't. That look on their face was they were afraid they were going to have to drop me. So, don't use my methods. My methods are dangerous. Don't try this at home.
You'll get tasered.
I did not get tasered. No. I put on there, Ready, Set, Mentor Me, and I charged the stage, and he ended up taking my number and calling me. But that was just like one thing. There was like every time I open up and get vulnerable, like let's talk about vulnerability. Let's talk about that being a strength and not a weakness, right? Joe Rokowski knows what I'm talking about. Vulnerability is a strength. It is by every single mean. And every time that you get vulnerable, what happens is you open up the universe to allow more good into your life. I don't know what it is, but when I shared that I got home from Tony Robbins and I wasn't the same woman, you don't understand. Like, I'll never forget my husband at the time, his exact words to me were, "My wife never got off the plane from Dallas. I don't know who you are." Like, I was so changed. He didn't know how to deal with who I was. Like, I just had such change. And so he left.
I heard the saying, "I drank the Kool-Aid."
Yeah, I drank the Kool-Aid, whatever it is. I mean, he says it's a cult. You know what I mean? He doesn't understand, right? But then he doesn't like to grow. You know what I mean? He doesn't know what it is to grow. He doesn't know what it is to progress, right? Because if he did, he would feel that happiness. 2 keys to happiness, guys. I'm going to give them to you right now. If you want to stay happy, you're going to do this. It's progress. You've got to progress in your life. If you're not progressing forward, guess what? You're going to be stagnant. You're not going to feel like you're moving forward. You're not going to feel good, right? But if you're progressing in your life, even if it's in small increments, right? I'm telling you that things are going to happen. That you're going to be happy. You're going to be fulfilled. And a lot of amazing things will happen. But not just that. Then Tony, I end up getting vulnerable thanks to a certain woman named Katana Snooks. Kick-ass woman. I'll tell you what, she's a kick-ass woman. I still to this day, I love that woman. She is badass.
She's a sweetheart, but I'm not going to mess with her.
All I have to say is Katana. People are like, I know who that is. I'm not, that.
Is she on Blab?
I don't, probably not. But she is, she's amazing. And she said, you need to post this to everybody in Dallas. You need to post that your husband left you. And I was like, like that, how do you post that your husband left you in front of I think 4,000 people were on that page at that time. And I was like, I'm like, what if I just post it? What if I just post it and get honest? And I did. And Tony Robbins ended up seeing my post. Out of all the people who could have seen my post, Tony Robbins sees it. And his one message to me was, it's always darkest before dawn. I'm so sorry to hear the pain that you're going through.
Wow.
He said, but what I can do, he's like, is I can tell you that what's next is always better. He's like, come as my guest to UPW, New Jersey. And I instantly was like, okay, I'm coming as his guest. You know what I mean? All right, I'm so excited. And just so many things happen. I can't, like the transformation that has taken place. If I would need a lot more time than, 1 hour to explain all the transformation that has happened. I mean, from me getting in the car and then going to New Jersey, getting a flat tire, me posting the picture of the flat tire, me then posting my story, how I called a friend and said, I got a flat tire, I need your car. And they're like, no, it's a sign you shouldn't go to that stupid seminar. And me saying, you know what? Maybe it's a sign you don't give up at every little bump in the road, right? It's me shifting that idea that, oh, this is hard, so I should stop. No, it's a sign that keep moving forward. Those little bumps in the road are there to keep the people who don't really want it out. Wow, what if we thought that? What if we implemented that into our thinking process, right? Then we wouldn't stop at those bumps in the road or those walls that we hit or those ceilings that we hit. We would keep going, going forward. She feels me. So, basically, I just kept moving forward, and I posted on the page my story. I get to UPW, the doors swing open.
Elvis didn't give up. Elvis didn't give up.
So I open up these doors, I walk in, and I say, hi, I'm here to be Tony Robbins' special guest. And they're like, oh, we don't have you down here. That friends and family section, that's only for important people and celebrities. I'm sorry, we don't have a seat for you. And I was like, oh, it's only for important people. I guess that's not me. And she's like, but I have Power Pavilion 2 open. And I had no idea what that was. Power Pavilion 2 is not many people speak English in Power Pavilion 2. Actually, most of them don't. So everybody has headphones on. So I walk in this room. Tony's not even in this room. It's a screen. And I'm like, I got to get grateful. I was like, it's all right that this happened, but I'm so disappointed, right? I'm trying to stay grateful, but my heart is in pieces right now, right? I expect to be in the front row, and they've just put me in a closet. And so basically I'm sitting there, and Tony Robbins comes on stage. Everybody jumps up. And remember, right next to me is 7,000 people in the room. And so I remember Tony Robbins, the first words out of his mouth, where there's a woman here who knows how to make things a must in her life.
Wow.
She got a flat tire and she couldn't stop. She could have just said, I'm done. I don't know what to do. There's too much, but she didn't. You know what I mean? And she called someone, and he starts telling my story on stage. And then he puts my name, my picture, my post on screen in front of 7,000 people. And he tells everyone there to stand up and applaud me. And it's at that moment I had tears in my eyes. Because there's just no way. I still get emotional when I think about it, because there's just no way that would have happened without grace, without a force behind it, right? There's just no way. I'm sorry. Things like that don't happen. And so I'm getting this applause, and I realize
my other
I'm supposed to be in the front. I realize that I'm supposed to be in the front, and so I get up and I take off my necklace, and I was like, I'm going to walk up to the front with so much certainty, with so much energy that they're not going to say a damn thing to me. And I stand up, and I take a deep breath, and I make my move, and I walk up to the front, and I lock eyes with Tony Robbins. His security guards don't say anything to me. And he blows me a kiss and tells me to sit down next to Hugh Jackman. And Hugh Jackman has a little name tag on that says Mike Smith, and I say, "You don't fool me. You're Wolverine." And he said, "You don't fool me. You're Caryolyn Wren." And I just kind of sat there, and I was so grateful. I'd never been so grateful in my whole life, and so much has happened since then. Like every morning, Monday through Friday, I wake up with these incredible people. Some of them are on now, Matt, Missy. I wake up every day at 6 a.m. and I work out with them and I meditate with them. And we love it. We have so much fun. I have so much fun. And Mike DeVito and Joseph McClinton, Tony's right-hand man, is on with me tomorrow, Sunday morning. He gets on a Zoom call with us and he walks us through it. It's amazing. It's incredible, all the transformation that's happened. It really is. And, you know, I can tell you, if you're listening to this right now, there's a reason, and something that I've said, allow it to seep into your mind like water to a sponge, whether it's that you create your own reality, whether it's that destiny in the universe is on your side, like that one thought that the universe is on my side. Like that is something that when Les Brown says it, I get chills, right? I get chills when I hear the universe is on your side. I love it. So I truly believe that.
Well, yeah, sometimes when you have that passion, that nothing's going to stop you. You're going to, it's like when we walked on fire. You know, that's, people say, you did what? you did what? But when you're so focused, you have obstacles. But I always say the most beautiful sights are the ones on detours. And when we have to change what we think we're on our path, and all of a sudden something comes there to throw a bump in it, you know, that's a, you know, don't turn around and go back home. You know, realize that, hey, I've got a gift coming up. There's something really cool that's going to happen on my way to getting to where I'm going.
Oh, yeah. And I love that. Whenever you're at that place, guys, where you don't think you can go anymore, when you're at that ceiling, when you feel like you can't take one more step, you better get excited, because that means a breakthrough is coming. That means something really incredible is coming. I'm telling you, every time in the past 14 months that I have felt like I can't go on, like, oh my God, like, what did I do? Like, there's been so many moments where I'm like, oh God, like that sick feeling like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it through this one. And then all of a sudden, like, grace will come and a miracle happens, or the money shows up, right? Because let me tell you something, being an entrepreneur is not easy. If someone tells you that it's easy to quit your job and just be an entrepreneur, they're fucking lying because it's not easy. There's been so many moments in this past 14 months where I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to pay my mortgage this month. Like, I don't even know. Right. And it takes time. It takes time to learn how to do the business, how to do the financials, how to really run a business, right? Because it's not just one part. There's several moving parts in a business.
Technology,
audio, lots of things, right? But I will tell you this, that there's one thing that Joseph always tells me. He says to praise yourself. He's like, you know, if there's one thing people don't do enough, it's praising themselves. He's like, Caryolyn, you've got to praise yourself. He's like, honestly, just love you. And that always brings it home, man, that you got to love you, man. You got to show people in your life how much you love you by taking care of your body, taking care of your what's around you, your space. It's so important. It's so important. I think that's Matt joining us. Joe, yes. Let's see if you guys want to jump in. I'd love to see your faces.
Oh, he started coming in and he's gone.
So
but I love that when there are challenges that we face. I shared, I had a very a near fatal car accident, and I look back at that event as a blessing. When the economic real estate, being a realtor, I had some very big challenges, at that time. But I look back at those are all blessings. Those are all things that got me to where, got me to where I'm going. Matt's having issues. Try it again, Matt.
I definitely see. That's the one thing that he did say. you got to get grateful for those challenges. Missy, I know you're on, and you know, I gotta like say it, like you got to become grateful for all of those dark moments you went through. Like I went through some really dark and horrible moments, and I'm grateful for every one of those moments. Why? Because they made me who I am today. I would not be who I am today without those moments. And I can really thank the people, like really truly thank them and send them love and compassion for the people who have hurt me, because they made me who I am.
Yep. The people that hurt you, your life experiences that you've gone through. Sometimes people throw their hands up, and that goes back to the Chinese bamboo, and I, like I said, just love your story and how you come into life, a bright shining star as you are. It's just
exactly. People spend a lifetime of putting themselves down because of one little incident. They spent a lifetime of doing all of these things, right? And they don't understand that those things happen for a reason. Like everything happens for a reason. Like I truly believe like every single person on this call today is here for a reason. They're supposed to hear something. It might not click till later, but everything comes together. I'm telling you, the synchronicities will happen in your life, and you will look around and it will be, there's no way that you won't be able to see all the dots lining up.
Hey, there's Matt. Hey.
Here I am.
Welcome, Matt.
Oh, happy Saturday, guys. I can see Ralph. I can see Caryolyn. I can hear Caryolyn, but I can't see her.
Well, she's as phenomenal as ever.
I'm on here, I promise.
I've been, I don't know, I slept in today, and I've been listening the whole time. I got on about 8:15, and I was just listening, to Carolyn's story. And, I think one of the most powerful things that I've seen transform in Caryolyn, and ever since I've known her, for those of you who don't know, how I met Caryolyn, I met her, like day 2. It was day 2 of near UPW Dallas. It was right after she quit smoking. I just happened to step out and check a voicemail. And something that I've always noticed is, everybody I've known in my journey is, people live their life. People see the world how they think. They see and live their lives the way they think things are, not how they are. And Caryolyn, she never really thought that any of this stuff couldn't happen. I mean, even if it was just for a brief moment, even if she thought the things couldn't happen, she never stopped believing. And that's how all this, and just different things. Caryolyn I've seen her transform, a lot, and that's why, because she's always believed that sometimes the best support, like going to UPW New Jersey, that she had a force that drove her there, because knowing that sometimes the best support is not where you're at, but where you're going. And I think it's just amazing. I mean, I'm actually buying a copy of her book. I look forward to reading it, and I know that I know it's going to change others' lives. And I have a book myself coming out soon, and there's everybody that I've known since before and since Dallas has a part in it.
I like the comments in the chat.
I love that Missy just said that. Did you see that, Matt? She said Caryolyn she has childlike faith. What is so funny about that comment is oh my God, when she says that hits home for me, because I do have childlike faith. Like I have never stopped believing that there was a force that was surrounding me, whether it be angels, whether it be God, whether it be a source. I don't know what it is, but there's something there, and it's good. And the words that come to mind are be a force for good. Be a force for the voices that can't have the voices. Be a voice for those who don't have that voice. Be, a voice for all the women, all the men who've been suffering. Tell them that it's time to stop suffering, right? Like I see it. I do. And That's what Tony Robbins does. When Tony Robbins comes out on stage, he blows people away, right? Matt, you do the same thing. Matt, you're a force for good. You support people, and you really, when you believe in someone, like you're all in. You're all in, Matt. That's how you are with someone. When you believe in someone, it's like, you know what? I'm all in. And he has been one of my true supporters. God, for the past since Dallas, he's been a supporter. So I just continue to keep moving forward. And I think that's what we all must do. I'm actually a little worried. My daughter has the water running upstairs, and I know that it was at a certain point. So I may have to go in a minute or two.
When you have to go, you have to go. It's definitely been a pleasure. But you were talking about you guys met at UPW. I was there. I didn't personally meet you guys, but there's something about when you decide to do something. When I say you plant that seed, you have to have that faith that it's going to sprout and it's going to grow. And when you start in that process, in that journey, sometimes you don't. It's not for you to know exactly how you're going to get there, but it's to have that faith. And when you start hanging out with like-minded people, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you in person. I've seen you online in conversations many times, both you and Matt. But it's that connection that you get and that energy you get. You're talking about vibration. You're raising, everybody else's vibrations, and I feel that Matt likewise. I mean, we do that. I love the saying, a single tide lifts all boats. And that vibration that we have out, that positive energy that we share with people, it's uplifting, and we have no way to know how much of an impact that we are making in people's lives. And Caryolyn, your story, I mean, it's, people say, well, I could never do that. Well, what would you do if you didn't know that, you wouldn't fail? What would you go out and accomplish? And when you have that childlike faith, that bamboo, that doesn't come up. And
I feel like I have 1,000 unseen hands guiding me. I'm not even teasing. I really, really do. And it's because everyone that meets me, it's almost like they become not my cheerleaders. I don't want to call them cheerleaders, but they become like a force for me. Like it's like I'm the underdog. I am the freaking underdog. That's how I feel sometimes. Like I am up against the wall, and like I have to go through all these things in my mind, but I'm the underdog, so I'm gonna win. Like that's how I feel. Like I'm against all the odds. All the odds are against me. Like I it might be really, really hard, but I'm gonna keep moving forward because I feel the love. I feel the love from others, and I feel just overwhelming faith that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. So I'm really worried about that water that is still running. So I'm gonna go up with my daughter. But it was so nice to be on, Ralph. I can't thank you much. Thank you, Matt.
My pleasure. And Caryolyn, your book, I am so excited. I got my book ordered, and I'm waiting for that book to come out. And
thank you so much for ordering, both of you, Matt and Ralph. Thank you so much. It means every single book sale counts. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, hey, thanks so much for an awesome time. Look forward to it, and hopefully we'll get on Play Up again sometime.
Yes, that sounds awesome. Thank you so much. I very much look forward to it.
Life is outstanding.
Life is outstanding. Bye, guys.
Bye. Well, that was a awesome, outstanding interview with Caryolyn Rim. Has anybody got any questions or would like to jump in the seat to carry on the discussion? Plant seeds carefully. There's a seat open. I'd love to have you. I love the saying, the message that I share, plant seeds carefully. Our thoughts are those seeds. The soil being fertile, it's going to grow a seed no matter if it's a weed or a productive seed. So it's going to grow, and our thoughts, we can become who we want to become. As Caryolyn, that example of that fire, that energy is all started with the seeds of thought and the faith that she was going to do what she's done, what she's accomplished. It's easy to go wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and see the person looking back at you as someone that you're not happy with, someone that you can kind of criticize. You don't have that self-love. But I love this quote by Robert Louis Stevenson. He says, "Judge not each day by the harvest we reap, but rather by the seeds that we sow." And, think about it. What we have in our lives now are the results of things that we've done in the past. And so we have that opportunity. Every day is a blank page. It's a new opportunity to become what we want to become. So we can plant those seeds. If it is changing careers, starting our own business, we can plant those seeds and start working towards that. If it's becoming more of a loving spouse, we can start doing those things. If it's become more of a contributor in our community, getting involved in different events to help the community, that giving, we have the opportunity each and every day to plant the seeds of the person that we want to become through our thoughts, our words, our physiology. So that's where Plant Seeds Carefully is all about, because what we think about, we bring about. It's been a great day. Thank you so much for being here and listening to the awesome discussion and meeting and interview with Caryolyn Rim. Life is outstanding. Have a great day.